Hello my friends and welcome back to English Fluent Forge. I'm Tom and I'm so happy you are here today. In today's episode, I will talk about motivation language learning. That means how to stay strong, how to keep going, how to enjoy the process of learning English even when it feels hard. In this podcast, I speak slowly. I use simple words and I repeat key ideas so you can understand easily. You can listen, repeat, and speak with zero me. You can practice English step by this is called shadowing. You listen then repeat after me. So are you ready? Know your English level. In this episode you will discover your English level. Beginner, elementary, intermediate, upper intermediate, advanced, or expert. You don't need any test or teacher. You only need your ears and a little focus. You will hear 6 short stories, one for each level. If one story feels easy and the next one feels difficult, that's perfect. That's how you find your true level. 1. Beginner level. At this level, English is very simple and clear. The sentences are short and use very common words. If you can understand this story easily, you are at least A1. Story. My name is Anna. I am 26 years old. I live with my parents. We have a small dog. His name is Max. I love my dog very much. We live in a small house. The house has 3 rooms, a living room, a kitchen, and a bedroom. Our house is clean and quiet. There is a park near our home. Every evening I go to the park and walk my dog. He runs and plays with other dogs. I sit on a bench and watch him. The park is green and beautiful. Every morning I wake up at 7 o'clock. I eat breakfast, drink tea, brush my teeth and go to work. I work in a small shop. The shop is close to my house. I walk there. It only takes 10 minutes. In the shop I sell food and drinks. I help customers. I take money and give change. My boss is nice. My job is easy. At 12 o'clock I eat lunch, rice or a sandwich. Sometimes I also drink coffee. At 5 o'clock I finish work and go home. I feel tired but also happy. I cook dinner for my parents. We eat together, talk and laugh. After dinner I wash the dishes. In the evening I watch TV or listen to music. Sometimes I read a small book. At 10 o'clock I go to bed. My dog sleeps next to me. Before sleeping I think about my day. My life is simple but I am happy every day. If you understood this story easily, you are A1. 2. Elementary level. At this level, sentences are more connected and a bit longer. If you understand this story without difficulty, you are at least A2. Story. My name is Mark. I live in a small apartment near the city. It's not big but it's enough for me. There is a small kitchen, 1 bedroom and a living room. From the window I can see a park and tall trees. In the morning I often hear birds singing. I work in an office that isn't far from my home. I usually walk because it only takes 10 minutes. If the weather is bad I take the bus. My work starts at 8:30 and ends at 5. I answer phone calls, send emails, and help my manager. My coworkers are cheerful. We talk during our lunch break. In the afternoon I go to a cafe with 2 colleagues. We sit and talk about our families and weekend plans. Sometimes we laugh a lot because one coworker tells very funny stories. After work I don't go home immediately. I go to the gym for 1 hour. I exercise, listen to music and feel good. Around 7 I reach home, take a shower, change clothes and cook a simple meal. Sometimes I watch TV while eating. On weekends I meet friends. We drink coffee, take walks or watch movies. When the weather is nice we sit in the park and talk for a long time. If this story felt easy, your level is A2 or higher. B1. Intermediate level. At this level, stories include meaning, problems, and ideas. If you understand the whole story without difficulty, you are B1. Story. My name is Liam. I work as a computer technician. I fix laptops, install new programs, and help people with their devices. I've been doing this for almost 6 years and I still enjoy it. For me, the work is interesting because it's both logical and creative. Every problem is different. When something broken starts working again, I feel happy. I start work at 8 in the morning. I make coffee first, then check my list for the day. Sometimes the problem is small, sometimes very big. Big problems can take hours. After work, I don't go straight home. I sit in the park near my office for a while. I listen to music or enjoy the silence. When I reach home, I cook dinner, watch a documentary or a short film. In the evening, I take an online course because I want to start my own business in the future. On weekends, I meet friends or go hiking in the mountains. If you understood this story easily, you are B1. B2. Upper intermediate level. Here, English becomes more natural, flowing, and emotional. If this long story feels comfortable for you, you are B2. The full B2 story is already translated in your Urdu version. C1. Advanced level. Here, the language is deeper, the expression is mature, and the ideas are more analytical. If you understand the C1 story, your English is very strong. The full C1 story is translated in your Urdu version. I finally understood where the mistake was. And the surprising part is that fixing it took only 10 minutes. That moment taught me a valuable lesson. Sometimes real progress happens only when you stop pushing. Pressure blinds you, and a little distance clears the mind. I often think about how much my job has taught me about life. Whether it's work or life, everything eventually comes down to communication. When we speak clearly and listen carefully, problems become smaller. But when we ignore, assume, or rush, small things turn into big issues. That's why I try to stay honest and calm even under pressure. I've learned that tone often has more power than words. A gentle voice can solve a problem that 100 emails cannot. Another important lesson I've learned is resilience. The strength to rise after difficulties. Projects fail. Clients leave. Budgets change. But if your mind stays steady, you can rebuild every time. I tell my team, resilience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. When something doesn't work, we don't see it as wasted time. We see it as training for the next challenge. After long days, meetings, screens, and deadlines, I feel a deep need for silence. That's why I enjoy walking, reading, or cooking. For me, cooking is almost like meditation. It is one of the few activities where I can focus on one thing at a time. Chopping vegetables, mixing flavors, waiting for something to cook on low heat reminds me that not everything meaningful has to be fast. I love reading too, especially biographies and psychology books. They help me understand people better, which makes me a better manager. Often in these writings, I recognize my own behavior, and that recognition pushes me to grow. I've learned that learning doesn't end after school. It continues quietly every day, through the people you meet, and the situations you go through. People often ask me if I don't get bored doing simple things after such a busy day. But I don't. For me, peace is not something you run toward. It's something you create through the way you respond to life. It's a choice, a daily choice. I've learned to see what is in my control and what is not. It's one of the hardest, yet most rewarding lessons of adult life. If there's one thing my career has taught me, it's that success is not just about completing projects. It's about who you become in the process. Every challenge teaches a new lesson about patience, listening, and empathy. Leadership. You don't learn it from books. You learn it from experiences, from people, and from your mistakes. A true leader is the one who stays steady when everything is falling apart and somehow keeps everything together. That's when you realize the real essence of life and leadership is not control. It's connection. The more you listen to people, the more they trust you. And the more you trust them, the better they perform. And when the team succeeds, it's not just your success, it's shared success. That is the most beautiful part of my job. Seeing people grow, seeing them gain confidence, watching them become future leaders. Yes, managing projects is difficult, but understanding people, giving them purpose, helping them believe in themselves, that is the real challenge and the real joy. At the end of any project, you don't keep the reports or the numbers. What stays with you are the people, the lessons, and the quiet satisfaction that you made a small difference in someone's life. If this story felt clear, natural, and easy to understand, your English is at least C1. C2, expert level translation. My name is Elianina, and over the years I've realized that the hardest part of life is not making decisions, it's understanding what those decisions truly mean. When we're young, every decision feels like a doorway to something better. A better job, a better city, a better version of ourselves. We walk through one door after another, rarely pausing to look back at what we left behind. But eventually, you begin to see that every decision brings both gain and loss. I spent years chasing progress without direction, changing cities, changing jobs, changing dreams. I told myself I was moving forward. But many times, I wasn't going anywhere. I was simply running quietly. Silence has its own fear, as if stillness might reveal the truths we try to hide. Took me years to understand that silence is never empty. It is filled with deep echoes, truths that appear only when the noise fades. My life is different now. My mornings are slow. I make coffee, open the window, and watch the light fall across the floor. That small moment is the truest moment of my day. I don't rush to check messages or plans. I simply sit, listening to the soft sounds of the world, listening to my thoughts, listening to the things that speak between the words. I used to believe that meaning came from action. Now I know that meaning comes from attention. I still work. I'm a consultant, but my relationship with work has changed. What once felt like pressure now feels like practice. Yes, the work is technical, logical, structured, but I try to find the human being inside all that structure. Real change doesn't happen when systems get faster. It happens when the people inside the system feel understood. You can change an entire organization, but if you haven't changed the people within it, their thinking, their identity, their sense of belonging, then nothing truly changes. Outside of work, I write, not for others, but for my own awareness. Writing is a mirror that does not flatter, shows the truth, where my thoughts begin and where they refuse to end. Sometimes I write about the past, not to stay there, but to understand it. Sometimes I write about the future, not to predict it, but to accept that knowing everything is not necessary. Some days the words bring a clarity, too delicate to describe, yet impossible not to feel. Lately I think a lot about time, not as something that passes, but as a place we move through. Some moments are wide and endless, others vanish in a blink. I've realized that the depth of time comes not from what we do, but from how awake we are while doing it. One moment of presence is deeper than a whole day of running. I once believed that growth meant collecting things, achievements, experience, praise. Now I know growth is about letting go, the art of release, letting go of things that leave no room for what truly matters. The world pushes us toward more. More goals, more speed, more noise. But wisdom lies in knowing when to stop, when to rest, when to say, this is enough. Maybe that is true freedom, the quiet peace that comes from knowing you don't need everything. To me, freedom is that silent balance that appears when you measure life by its depth, not its quantity. With age, I've realized that peace is not something waiting at the end of the road. It walks beside you, in the rhythm of your steps, in the warmth of the morning sun, and in the soft certainty that life is happening right now, and this moment is enough. If you understood this story with ease, congratulations, your English is almost C2 near native. But remember, fluency is not a finish line, it's a way of living.